people that followed the cloud of Christ or the crowd of God. We was released. A lot of changes happened for the black race because of that. And what has happened is, when you think about it, the writer says that the cloud, because they was in the desert, the cloud represented shade. And so, as long as you got to understand this thing, as long as you under the cloud, you got it made in the shade. Can I say that again? As long as you're under the cloud or under the covering of God, you got it made in the shade. But then when you see people struggling and going through and they're striving to get here and get there, but it's a struggle all the time, check to see what they're under. My God, my God. When you see all this killing and all this stuff happening in our neighborhoods, check to see what cloud are these people under. See what their family is doing. Come on, somebody. Now the family may be under the cloud, but the child decided to do their own thing.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
And that's all the writer is saying. He's saying that Paul said, I'd rather you not be ignorant to the things of God. See, there's a lot of folk trying to change things, but they're ignorant to the ways of God. And you can't change man's thought. You can't do it. God created man. White, black, green, yellow, purple, whatever color they are, God created them. And unless we go to God, the Creator, and ask Him to fix a situation, it's not going to change.
Amen, amen.
There's a lot of people walking and marching with us. But there's a lot of people walking and marching against us.
My God, my God.
But they ain't doing it out in the open. They're doing it with the power that they know that works. They do it with their vote. Come on, somebody. They do it with their connections. How many of you have connection with somebody that's in a higher position and you use it to help somebody else? Or you only use it for your personal gain? Or how many of you got a high position and you're afraid to use it because of the backlash you're going to get? You got to understand that's how it worked. And I'm going to go over this little bit about the secret religion of the slaves. And you'll see how they operated and what they wasn't allowed to do. And see, sometimes we're so smart, we've got so much education, we don't know how to operate undercover.
My Lord.
We tell everything.
Amen.
We tell the boss what we ain't gonna do. We set ourselves up to get fired. We set ourselves up to get a bad evaluation because we don't know how to operate undercover. I didn't say lie. We don't know how to operate undercover. Moses' mother operated undercover.
Yes, she did.
The midwives operated undercover.
Yes, they did.
They didn't kill all the baby boys that was born. They didn't do that.
That's right.
Even though they was ordered to do it.
They were.
Sometimes we don't understand what it takes to get from one place to the next. It's not always the way you want to do it. You got to have some type of strategy. And throughout the Bible, throughout the history of the black people, the Negroes in the United States, it was always something done in a way that it would help somebody else. The Underground Railroad, and all those things. It wasn't. They didn't. Harry Tucker didn't get up and go, "Hey, I'm starting to run away past the slaves. Watch me." But what do? We get on TV. Yeah, I'm gonna do this for these people, and I'm gonna do this, and now we're gonna. And so the enemy just said, "Okay, you do it. I'm gonna block everything you doing." Can I get some witnesses? Amen. Hallelujah. How many people got it made in the shade? I'll say it one more time. How many people got it made in the shade? Or should I put it? How many of y'all is under the cloud of God?
Amen. Amen.
You traveling, you being led by by the Spirit. We don't have the natural cloud anymore, but we do have the what? The Holy Spirit to lead us and guide us to all what?
Righteousness.
Amen. By the eve of Civil War, Christianity had pervaded the slave community. Not all slaves were Christian, although all of those who accepted Christianity, members of a church. But the doctrine, symbols, and vision of life preached by Christianity was familiar to most. The religion of the slaves were both visible and invisible, formally organized and spontaneously adopted. Regular Sunday worship in the local church was paralleled by illicit or less informal prayer meetings on weekends, weeknights in the slave cabins. Preachers licensed by the church and hired by the master was supplemented by slave preachers licensed only by the Spirit. Text from the Bible, which most slaves could not read, was exacerbated by verses from the Scriptures. Slaves forbidden by masters to attend church, or in some cases even to pray. Risk flogging to attend secret gatherings to worship God. His own experience of the individual institution was recalled by former slave Wash Wilson. When the nigger go around singing, "Steal away to Jesus," that meant they gonna in a religious meeting that night. I'm reading it where it's written. That's how he talked. The master didn't like them religion meetings, so us naturally slipped off at night, down in the bottom, or somewhere, sometime us singing and praying all night. That was his words, the way he written. Master preaching and real preaching. Slave preachers were moved to hold their own religious meeting out of disgust for the gospel preached by the master. They didn't like they were disgusted by what the master would preach. One of the slaves explained that when they grew tired of the white folks preaching, the preacher came in and just said, "Serve your master. Don't steal your master's turkey. Don't steal your master's chicken. Don't steal your master's hog. And don't steal your master's meat. Do whatsoever your master tell you to do." Some old thing all the time. Sometimes they wanted a real meeting with some real preaching. They used to sing their songs in a whisper and pray in a whisper. Slaves faced severe punishment if caught attending secret prayer meetings. One of the gentleman's brother-in-law, Isaac, a slave preacher, was flogged and his back pickled for preaching at a service in the woods. His listeners were flogged and forced to tell who else was there. How many of y'all would really go through all that just
My Lord, to go to church.
to go to church?
My God, my God.
It's hard to get you to church now. And ain't nobody threatening to beat you, but I know. Slaves devised several techniques to avoid being detected. One practice was to meet in secluded places, woods, gullies, ravines, and thickets, aptly called hush harbors. One person remembers slaves singing and praying while huddled behind quilts and rags which had been thoroughly wetted to keep the sound of their voice from penetrating the air, and then hung them up in the form of a little room or a tabernacle.
My God.
What do you get out of that when you hear it saying they went to that great length to hear the word, for the word of God?
My God, my God, my
That
God.
they really had a desire.
Desire.
They really wanted this. It wasn't, and see, I'm gonna bring it right to where all of us are at now.
Hallelujah.
When you going through something,
Oh God.
Yes, yes.
When sickness hit your body, I'm talking about real sickness. I ain't talking about no sniffles, your nose run a little bit, you take a wipe it. I'm talking about when you truly sick and you hurt and you in pain, or you messed up and you don't know which way to go, you will become like they are. Or they were. You'll find you a secret place to talk to God. You'll find you a place to hear the word. Does anybody in here understand what I'm saying? This is what it meant to them, because see, they didn't have no outlet. They didn't have no Walmart. They didn't have no TV turn on at night. They didn't have no microwave to cook the food. They didn't even have probably a real mattress to lay their head on. That's just that part. We're not talking about the work part. And then we're not talking about the humiliations they went through. Never called in you. And they had names. The ones that got off the boat had a name. They had a real name. They was given a name when they were born. But when they got here, they were given another name. So they was never called who they were. How could you do that? Somebody call you somebody you know. I call Jeffrey him. A boy.
My Lord Jesus.
I call Deacon and Pat. Girl. And I ain't talking about the grown folk calling you. I'm talking about the little children calling you that. And Posse gonna talk a little bit about that. Some of y'all would be beat down to the ground.
Amen.
But you wouldn't take it.
Amen.
Right now, you can't stand somebody say boy to you. Your
Amen.
lips poke all out. But their only outlet was Christ.
Jesus, my Lord, my God.
Oh yeah.
My God.
On one Louisiana plantation, when the slaves were still away into the woods at night, whole service, they would form a circle on their knees around the speaker, who would also be on his knees. He would bend forward and speak into open over a vessel of water to drown the sound. If anyone became animated and cried out, the others would quickly stop the noise by placing their hands over the offender's mouth. Y'all all be holding somebody, because God Almighty knows. James, they be holding your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And his mama too.
Amen.
They be out there in the woods talking, hey! How? See, we think about the children of Israel and the people overseas that couldn't worship. They can't worship right now. But you never thought about it was that way here. In these free United States. You don't know the whole story. All you know about they were slaves, but you don't know all the things that went in that they couldn't do as slaves. Even in Joseph could worship his God even though he was in bondage in Egypt. Am I right?
That's right.
Huh? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego could worship their God even though they was in Babylonia under Nebuchadnezzar. But your ancestors couldn't worship your God, their God, and they was in the United States.
Amen.
Where all men are created equal. But some of y'all say it ain't like that now. You want to bet? Go down to the courthouse and begin to pray out loud in the seats in the courthouse and see won't they lock you up. Go on your job and start talking about Jesus. See won't your boss call you in, tell you can't do that no more. Too extreme. Many slave owners granted their slaves permission to attend church, and some others openly encouraged religious meeting among the slaves. Baptism, marriage, and funerals were also was allowed to slaves on some plantations, with white observing and occasionally participating. Annual revivals meeting was socially occasion for black as well as white. Masters were known to enjoy the singing, praying, and preaching of their slaves. Nevertheless, at the core of the slave religion was a private place. For no matter how religious the master might be, the slave knew that the master religion did not counter prayers for his slave freedom in his world. Some people, and I'm going on what my little living in, some black folk love some white people. I mean, they love them like they were brothers and sisters, whatever.
Amen. Amen.
Some of us grew up and had white friends, went to school together.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't go in the grandfather's front door. I had to go to the back. I couldn't sit at the table eat with him, even though we was best friends. Or y'all, you're not hearing it. This is how it was. That's what they knew. As religious as the master was, they knew the master's prayers did not have in them free my slaves. You better wake up and smell the coffee, because you ain't smelling the coffee beans cooking right if you think that everybody that you hang out with and everybody you go to school with and everybody in your job that look like you want you to be where you need to
Amen.
be.
Amen.
Amen. Preach.
Amen.
You need to understand that. And the sad thing about it, some of those that treat you the worst look like you.
Amen.
Trying to think of the man who wrote the letter about hanging people.
Lynch. Willie Lynch.
Willie Lynch. It's to deter you from wanting to be free or speaking out. You have to understand that God is the only way. The religious format varies from plantation for the slave. Former slave John Brown depicted two extremes. Sunday was a great day around the plantation. The fields were forgotten. The light chores were hurried through, and everybody got ready for the church meeting. It was out the door, in the yard. Master John's wife would start the meeting with a prayer, and would then come the singing, the old-timey song. But the white folks on the next plantation would lick their slaves for trying to do like we did. No praying there and no singing. So it varies from person to person and place to place. Do you understand what I'm saying? Some masters didn't allow the slaves to go to church and ridiculed the notion of religious for slaves because they refused to believe that Negroes had souls. Others forbid their slaves to attend church because, as an ex-slave explained, white folks afraid the niggers get to thinking they were free, and if they had church in them.
My Lord Jesus. They were free.
Mm-hmm. You have to understand something. Yeah, I ain't gonna go through all this, but I go back to that, brother. I'd rather you not be ignorant. And when you was in the wilderness, you was led by a great cloud by day, and pillar of fire by night. But when we came out of, when we went through the civil rights movement, and we're still going through the civil rights movement, you know what I mean?
Amen.
There are some folks that don't know about that, and they don't care to know about that. All they want to know is what the record Beyonce done released. How many points did Steph Curry shoot last night? LeBron James get?